Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests to Leaders Worldwide International Speech Contest for 2023. Here is some logistical information. During the contest taking place today, it's incredibly important that everyone is on mute so the contestants can speak and be heard without distraction. All participants were muted by default as you entered. Please verify that your line is still muted. If it isn't, please go ahead and mute yourself right now. Also during the contest, only the speaker's video and the timer's video are allowed by Toastmasters International to be turned on. We have instructed contestants to switch to gallery view on the top right of their screen and to turn off non-participating videos so they only see themselves and the timer. All others may want to consider using speaker view during the contest, also found at the top right of your screen. We will remind individuals to turn their video off once. Failure to do so may mean that the technical host will turn your video off through the remainder of the contest and you will be unable to turn it back on. If you have technical questions, please use the chat window. No photographs or video recordings are allowed during the contest, except with advance approval from the contest chair. At this point, I'd like to introduce the president of Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club, distinguished Toastmaster Tala bin Hamid. Over to you, Tala.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Curtis Greaves. And welcome to the International Speech Contest of Leaders Worldwide 2023. What an epic way to start the year. And I'm thankful to everyone who made this historic day possible. The contestants, the contest staff, the facilitator, the judges, and all the other people involved. Today, we are so privileged that we have people from all over the world helping us out in this contest. And to all the contestants, I just say this. Literally dozens of people have worked day and night to enable this stage for all of you for months. And why did we do it? We did it only because you could tell your story and change the world even in a little way with your 5 to 7 minutes. So I will not wish you luck because luck is for losers. You all are hardworking, creative people and you don't need luck. Today's contest is dedicated to the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And what better dedication could be imagined, because he was all about giving the stage to everyone, no matter who, what, or from where. And today, we try to carry his noble legacy by providing the stage and equal opportunity to people around the world in their journey towards discovering themselves and once again, changing this world even a little bit. So I welcome all the dignitaries and guests today to the meeting, too numerous to call out and take comments. And we are already running a little bit late, but I'm deeply grateful to each and every one of you. With that, I hand over the charge now to our contest chair, DTM Cynthia Stott. Over to you, DTM Cynthia.
I'm going to just toss it right to our Toastmaster of the Day, our contest Toastmaster of the Day, Jill Zwanstra. Please welcome Jill.
Thank you so much, Contest Chair Cynthia Stott. Just a note quickly that this contest will end in 2 hours at 8 p.m. Pacific San Francisco time. We will get through it. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me at Leaders Worldwide 2023 International Speech Contest. As you know, speech contests are an important part of the Toastmasters education program. They provide an opportunity for Toastmasters to gain speaking experience, as well as an opportunity for other Toastmasters and guests to learn by observing proficient speakers. Today's International Speech Contest winner will represent leaders worldwide at the Area D30 International Speech Contest on March 18th, 2023 at 1 p.m. If the club contest winner today is unable to participate in the next contest level, the highest placed available contestant will advance. Division D, which is the next level after area, contest is April 10th at 7 p.m. And then the district conference and contests are on May 20th. As your president said, this speech contest is dedicated in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I will start with an MLK quote, given your club is leaders worldwide. This is a quote that he gave at his Christmas sermon in Atlanta, Georgia in 1967. If we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. And this means we must develop a world perspective. I will now review the International Speech Contest procedures for the benefit of our guests and as well as newer members. In this contest, we will all hear an original speech from each contestant. There will be 1 minute of silence after each contestant for the judges to mark their ballots. After the final contestant, I will ask for another minute of silence, and then the judges will be moved to a breakout room to finalize and submit their ballots. Before introducing each contestant, I will ask, contestant 1, can you hear me and see the timer? There will be a couple of exceptions to this, but for the most part, contestant 1, can you hear me and see the timer? Once the contestant responds, yes, I can hear you and see the timer, I will then introduce them. To eliminate any perception of bias, I will introduce each contestant in the same way. Contestant number, contestant name, speech title, contestant name. The speaking order has been chosen randomly. There is a link in the chat to it, but I'm going to quickly say it out loud so we're all on the same page. Contestant 1, Shumpa Akhter. Contestant 2, Sandra Edwards. Contestant 3, Cassandra Garabedian. Contestant 4, Roslyn Khan. Contestant 5, Carrie Kelly. Contestant 6, Lydia Norman. Contestant 7, Misty Forsman. Contestant 8, Atifa Deshamukia. Contestant 9, Michelle Pedicolis. Contestant 10, Maya Catherine. Contestant 11, Linda Berteau. Contestant 12, Isaac Ford. Contestant 13, Nadine James. And contestant 14, Dee Marie King. I will now ask our contest chair, Cynthia Stott, if all contestants and timers have been briefed.
Yes, they have.
And I will now ask the chief judge, Marlon Pareo, if we are ready to start the contest.
Yes, we are ready.
All right. Now, everyone turn off your video if you have not already. It looks like, let me just double check. I think everyone's got their video off except for contestant number 1, which is perfect. It is time to begin the contest. Contestant 1, can you hear me?
Hold on, mute on.
Yes, I can hear you.
Contestant 1, Shumpa Akhter. Global inclusion, the power of abilities with disabilities. Global inclusion, the power of abilities with disabilities, Shumpa Akhter.
Marlon has been a police officer for 22 years, 11 of which he has been completely blind. Most visually impaired people, like me, have at least partial vision. Until Marlon, I had never met a totally blind police officer. He commutes to work daily, taking 3 taxis to get to his office where he trains other cops to do criminal analysis. Marlon absolutely loves his job and is more dedicated than most as he wears his police badge with pride. He has never seen his badge though. He can't. Marlon is a content human being living with a disability in a third world country. He lives on the island of Trinidad in the Caribbean. He gives the best of himself every single day in service to his country's national security. Fellow Toastmaster and honored guest, wouldn't it be amazing to have a qualified and dedicated employee like Marlon? Are you aware that most people with disabilities are just as qualified, conscientious, and dedicated as Marlon? Do you believe it's fair and a good business decision to hire people like Marlon? I wouldn't say grateful to be employed. I would rather make these businesses to be grateful to have such dedicated and qualified employee, not the other way around. With fair accommodations and support, employees with disabilities are ready and willing to give their all to your organization. Some of you might be thinking, I want a qualified and dependable employees like Marlon, but I don't know anything about disabilities. Things have changed. We now have 6 business liaisons in 6 different regions in the state of Oklahoma, just to guide you. I am Shimpa Akhtar. I represent the Oklahoma Department of Rehabilitation Service. I have a colleague named Vicky. Vicky and I consider to be visually impaired, but we have different abilities. We perform different tasks every single day with different accommodations. You see, sometimes it is hard to determine what a person with disability may need just by knowing the fact a person has a particular disability. I would like to open your eyes to what we can offer you in order to support your employees with disabilities so that you can have a whole bunch of Marlins. Going back to me and my colleague Vicky, it is, like I said, it's difficult to determine what a person might need by knowing the fact of what particular disability they may have.
Green.
It is almost impossible to cater your customers or employees with disabilities needs at its face value. For example, I much prefer receiving documents in accessible electronic format, while Vicky may just need the same document in a large print. The needs of people with disability varies, but you don't have to worry. We can assist you with that. Do you include disabilities in your company's diversity, equity, inclusion program? If I were you, I would consider it. Let's schedule an appointment and talk about this. Here is your folder, which includes my business card and some brochure on the information on services we provide. We will support your companies to compile with Americans with Disabilities Act and also support you to grow your business and attract great employees like our good friend Marlon. We can definitely assist you with that. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Contestant 1, please turn off your video and mute yourself. You've done that. That's good. Timer, please give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballots. Please indicate when 1 minute is up for me, if you can. Thank you, timer. Contestant 2, please turn your video on. Contestant 2, can you hear me and see the timer?
I can hear you and I can see the timer.
Contestant 2, Sandra Edwards, hand analysis junkie, Sandra Edwards.
I am a hand analysis junkie. I love hand analysis and all that it teaches me. Now, some of you are probably wondering, what is hand analysis? Well, it can be best described as a modern version of all of the ancient palmistry traditions. It's not predictive as palmistry is, but your hands do tell you all about your personality, your relationships, your purpose, your gifts, your talents, and the challenges that are making your life the best it can be, and much, much more. Hand analysis came to me in the fall of 2000. That was a very important birthday date for me. And, you know, I was looking for something, but I don't know what it was. Now, after getting home from a long birthday retreat, I opened my emails, and the first email I came across was from a friend in Portland. She lives in Portland, but she was going to be in the Bay Area the following weekend for a class that she thought I might be interested in. Well, the class was hand analysis, and I did some research. I even called the person who was in charge of the class. And Well, I decided to take a chance. So we spent the weekend looking at our hands, you know, the fingerprint patterns, the lines, the shape. It was really fascinating. Then I had my hands read by an expert reader. I learned so much about myself, so much that had been plaguing me all my life, like communication. I always had trouble with communication. And here I was learning that it's not unusual for me to be miscommunicating and being misunderstood and sometimes not understanding information coming in. I'm like, wow, that's really good information to get. One needs to know that. So, and I also got some clarity about my relationship. And I began to understand the challenges to living my best life. And the list goes on. I was so impressed. I joined the ongoing class and I never looked back. I studied hands for my own healing, for my own purpose. But after a few years, I kind of got a different attitude and I became a reader. I became a hand analyst, a hand reader. Reading hands who want to know more about themselves is my greatest pleasure. I love helping people find a new perspective of themselves and to grow into their best lives. Now, in more recent years, I've joined Toastmasters. And I've really grown from that experience. Like hand analysis, Toastmasters offers me information and learning about myself that I wouldn't otherwise have. Honing my speaking skills is one of the Toastmaster teachings I appreciate the most. I used to be terrified of standing in front of people to speak. Remembering my parents' 50th birthday, all three of us siblings were to, get up in front of the guests and say a few words, humor, meaningful. Well, my brother and sister, they got up and they shared their thoughts and they laughed and had a good time and without missing a beat. And then there was me. I had been studying and working for days on this, writing, practicing, rewriting, practicing more. Getting to the front of the room was the most painful thing that I could imagine. I turned bright red and my mind goes totally blank. I read my story not looking at the audience. There was no humor involved. I could hardly wait to go find a corner to hide in. Well, Toastmasters helped me be more comfortable speaking in front of groups of people, which in turn helps me speak more clearly in a conversational situation, something I am eternally grateful for. Hand analysis gives me direction and guidance, leading me to a life of love and compassion. Toastmasters teaches me skills to enhance my life. Vital things to learn in this lifetime. Thank you.
Contestant 2, please turn your video off and mute yourself. And I will ask our timer 3 to give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 3, please turn on your video. Contestant 3, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see the timer.
Contestant 3, Cassandra Garabedian, that girl and that woman that resides within you. That girl and that woman that resides within you, Cassandra Garabedian.
Do you recall a time when you looked into a full-length mirror and thought, those big thighs, those hips of mine are just too large. My tiny breasts, gosh, I wish they were larger. My eyes, I wish that they were a different shape. My hair, I wished it wasn't as kinky as it is. Or it's just too curly, or it's just too doggone bone straight. These are some of the things that women go through. Why? Because of a standard of beauty that society has placed on women. It's too much. Women shouldn't have to feel that way. And it's because of society's standards, ridiculous standards that society has placed on women, whether it's through media, social media, whether it's through advertisements, television, whether it's through the newspaper ads. All these things, starting at a small age, playing with dolls, Barbie dolls. Look at Barbie. Barbie doesn't have realistic measurements for a woman. Yet, these are the things that women grow up thinking. These are the standards of beauty that women must hold themselves up to. And I'm here to tell you, as a woman, as a Black woman, no, we shouldn't have to hold ourselves up to these standards, these high, ridiculous standards. And as a Black woman growing up in the 60s, there was no way that I could even measure up to those standards, because in the media, I didn't see anyone that looked like me in ads. Yet, but there was one thing. In my village, they told me I was beautiful. And I'm talking about women that didn't look like me. They came from all different cultures, all different races. They told me I was beautiful. And so even though the media said that the standard of beauty was one thing, my social environment said something different. And so with that, my self-esteem grew. And I became a confident woman. And so I'm here to say that as a community, we should do that for our little girls today. Because we know through social media now the pressures in which little girls have today. They're living in a world that we know that their self-esteem is plummeting downward. And we need to come together as a community to help build them up so that they can grow rich and know that they are worth something. They're worth more than what society is placing on them. Now, I'd like to just not put it down just as a race thing, because we come in all different sizes and different shapes. And so even back when I was growing up, even though the Caucasian women had this standard, quote, standard of beauty that they fit into because of their skin color, they still face this low self-esteem because you had to be a certain size. Thick, but not too thick. Big, with a big butt, but not too big. Not too big of a butt. Long hair. Straight, but not too straight. Curly, but not too curly. Fair skin, but not too fair. All of these conflicts and pulling and tugging. And yet, there's this back and forth with this standard of beauty. And what we need to say is that all women are beautiful. And once again, I say, pull together so that we know that we're all beautiful. Thank you. Back to you.
Contestant 3, please turn off your video and mute your microphone. And I will ask once again our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 4, please turn on your video. Contestant 4, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes.
Can you say, yes, I can see you and
Yes, I can see the timer, and yes, I can hear you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Contestant 4, Rosalind A. Kahn, From Pain to Power. From Pain to Power, Rosalind A. Kahn.
Have you ever had one of those bad days? One of those bad days that keeps going on and on and on. And you ask yourself the question, but why me? Why does it happen to me? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, I'd like to tell you a story of pain to pleasure through 3 important parts of my life. 1, I was a small little kid back in kindergarten, preschool as a matter of fact, then elementary school as a teacher, and as a college teacher. So let's take a stroll back in time when I was just a wee little one. I was looking through a letter that was written to my mother, and it said the following, you know, Rosalind is a small, quiet, and she's such a timid little girl. She always sits on the outside of the circle by herself. It seems as though she's asking herself, why me? I was a little worried about this shy little girl at the very beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, oh my God, she was the center of attention. Everybody just loved this little girl. I guess if I was to say that little girl needed to just get comfortable with the people inside the room, and then life explodes from there. So let me take you to the next part. I was an elementary school teacher. And you ask, why did you, Rosalind, want to become an elementary school teacher? Because I love kids. If you ever see me around a young kid, you'd see my face light up, overjoyed. And oh my gosh, I'd love to teach these kids. And so I entered the classroom. And I spoke Spanish, and I was a bilingual teacher, and I had a mentor teacher, and there was a lady on the campus who helped me out. And there were some great things that happened when I was in elementary school. In that elementary school, there was teacher training, parent-teacher conferences, and the parents would come in. And there was one person who came in class, and she said, you know, my little girl, I don't know why she screams and yells and hollers at me. And I asked a question. I said, tell me, what is going on around your house? She said, well, you know, my husband, he left me. And I said, as I looked her in the eye, your child is communicating in the only way that she can, which is by yelling at you. The very next day, the little girl came into the class and she brought me these 3 little Coca-Cola bottles, and they were written in Hebrew as a way of saying thank you. Then there was this another little boy, and he came in, he had marks on his arms. And I said to the nurse, what happened to him? And she said, those are cockroaches in his house. When his mother came, I said, you know, when I graduated college, many people go out and buy themselves a new car. Not me. I got myself a exterminator. And before that time, there was this yellow bottle, plastic thing, and it had this white stuff in. And I'd take a little teaspoon and I'd go around the house and I'd get rid of all those little bugs. And you know what happened next? The mother went out and bought her kid a bunk bed. I was so glad. Then I really understand kids. And I know there was this one kid who was far better than the rest of them. I determined that kid had gone unnoticed as a gifted child. Well, you'd think I was a smash hit in the classroom there, but that wasn't quite the case. You see, there was one day, and the kids were 3rd grade, that's 7 to 8 years old, and they're a little squirrely. They can't stand in one little place. They're always moving all around. And I said to this girl, can you please just stand in line? And I can see it clearly in my head. I remember her right there in front of me saying, can you please move here in line? And she said that I put marks in her arm and it was bruised, black and blue. And then they took me out of the classroom. It was elementary purgatory. I sat in an office and I would photocopy papers, count paper clips, and I went on this letter writing campaign. And I went back to my elementary school teacher, my religious school teacher, my neighbor, my campfire girl, and I amassed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of letters. And I waited with bated breath for the day that I could have my turn, and the people would come and go, come and go, and come and go, and come and go. And finally, one day it finally happened. I went downtown Los Angeles to the head of the Los Angeles School District, and I went in the office and I said, here are my letters. And as he went one by one, he says, I don't see what the problem is here. You're free. And so I learned the pain of being excluded. There was an opportunity to just be yourself. Let me go to my last and final story. I was a community college teacher, and I was teaching a brand new class because in college, if they liked it, they could just leave your class. Well, I care deeply about people, just like those elementary kids and those other kids. And these people were coming in late. And I said, come on, guys, you got to show up on time. And I gave them an assignment that said, write a letter to the President of the United States. We all know if you write a letter to the President of the United States, he doesn't care what you say. He just says, thank you very much. Well, these students came in late, as they always did, and I didn't accept their paper. And they said, oh my gosh, she went ahead and didn't accept our papers because we had a different political belief. That was not the case, but they took me out of the classroom, and you could see my name all across the United States, all around the world. And there was this organization called FIRE, the Federation for the Investigation of Rights of Educators. And they said that I didn't accept a student because of their political belief. And it was going on TV, and Connie Chu was going to interview me, and I was going to have my day in court. And there was this lady, she was had been kidnapped, and they took me to small claims. They took me to a mediator. And when I went to a mediator and I told my story, I really love my students. They're so important to me, and I just want them to excel in communication. And when I walked out of the room, the gentleman said, Rosalind, you are the best storyteller I've ever met. Maybe that's why I've been on the TED stage, why I have my own TV show and all those other things, because I took those painful moments in my life and I turned them into power. I took those moments where those other people put me down and said, no, that's not me. I've told you from preschool to kindergarten to college, there are people who don't believe who you are. But I'm telling all of you, you don't need to listen to them because you're your own self. Just be who you are, and you can turn that pain into power. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant 5, please turn your video off and mute yourself. And I will ask our timer number 3 to once again give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 5, please turn your video on. Contestant 5, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Contestant 5, Carrie Kelly, the noise that silence makes, the noise that silence makes, Carrie Kelly.
If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song. If I can show somebody that they're traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. I am legally blind, which means I have enough eyesight to get in trouble, but not enough to get a driver's license. And I have seen the way some of you people with normal eyesight drive, and yes, I think I could drive just as bad. Not to mention, I have really bad road rage. I am going to paint a picture that no one wants to see. I'm going to share stories that no one wants to hear, and you are going to be very uncomfortable. Let's start with, why don't you come with me to the back seat of a light green 69 Chevy Impala. I'm 4 years old, crying my eyes out. In the front seat are my brand new parents that just adopted me, and I'm leaving the safe home that I've always lived in to go build a life with my new parents. I'm distraught about it. I'm crying my eyes out. My brand new father, who's driving the car, says absolutely nothing. His silence was very loud. Come to church with me on a Sunday morning when I'm 8 years old, and the preacher is just preaching away. If you look up in the choir stand, you'll see all these children with the little yellow outfits on, because today is the little kids choir's turn to sing. And I had my little yellow dress on, and I'm sitting next to my very best friend, and we're wiggling and giggling because we're all excited. And my mother gets right up while the pastor is preaching. She points her finger at me. She says, "Carrie, stop talking in church." The whole church, including the pastor, went silent. And that silence was very loud. Come with me the very next day, Monday morning, when my mom drops me off at my babysitter's house, and I'm Sesame Street when her favorite grandson comes in. He's about 17 or 18 years old, and he grabs me by the hand and takes me to another part of the house. And I end up with a pair of socks shoved in my mouth. He has removed my pants and my panties, and he's on top of me. I'm supposed to be outside waiting for the school bus to take me to school, but I'm not. Nobody's coming for me. I hear the bus come and leave. My babysitter's silence that day was very loud. Come with me 4 years later into my 12-year-old bedroom in the wee hours of the night. And I can feel my mattress moving and the covers are being pulled on. And I wake up to see my dad in my bedroom. I look at him like he has got two heads. I ask him straight up, "Are you drunk? Are you sure? What are you doing in here? Get out of here. If you don't get out of here, I'm gonna start screaming and wake up my mother. He left my bedroom, but I know my mother heard because our bedrooms share a paper thin wall, and her silence was very loud that day. I am about 21 years old when I'm in the car with a relative of mine, and we start reminiscing about old times when I was a little girl. And she says to me that she resented my mother. She tells me about how she remembers my mother all excited. I have this beautiful little girl and I can't wait to get her. She's so beautiful. And my relative tells me how she resented my mother for adopting a child and abusing me. I asked this relative about all the times when I was being abused. And if she felt like that before I was adopted, why did nobody speak up to protect me or get me some help? I got a little hand wringing, foot shifting, excuse making. And so the noise, my silence is me standing on stage or being in public telling my story so no other child had to go through what I went through. If someone knows that is in harm's way, to do something or say something. So my suffering shall not be in vain. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant 5, please turn your video off and mute yourself. And I will ask our timer number 3 to once again give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 6, please turn on your video. Contestant 6, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes, I can see you and hear the timer.
Excellent.
You can see the timer.
Contestant 6, Lydia Norman. Neurodiversity, why create workplaces productive for all employees regardless of ability? Neurodiversity, why create workplaces productive for all employees regardless of ability? Lydia Norman.
A majestic eagle circles in the skies above when suddenly she spots her target, a tasty fish in the waters below. As she swoops down to pluck the fish from the water, she's taken by surprise. What? What is this? Goggles on her eagle eyes? Flippers cramping her sharp talons? And a bulky airbag weighing down her back. As she's plunged into the waters below, she hears a voice. You are now a catfish. She looks around to see herself surrounded by fish. Catfish, bottom dwellers. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and my fine feathered friends. I am that eagle. And this is my experience as a person with a cognitive disability in the workplace. Come along with me back to the year 2000. I'm sitting in the psychiatrist's office where my children have just been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Mrs. Norman, I've screened you, and you also have ADHD. But you got A's and B's in school, so it didn't affect you. You're fine. Great, I thought, I'm fine. So I never got an official diagnosis. I graduated with an accounting degree with honors and went on to have what I thought was an exemplary accounting career. I never really had any problems other than getting bored with the jobs after 6 months to a year and moving on to my next challenge. That is until the job. Now, the job actually was my dream job. Well, until 10 weeks later, when my favorite manager left the company and I found myself bouncing from manager to manager to manager to manager until manager number 5. Manager number 5 was a challenge because his style of working was to go from the bottom up, while mine was to go from the top down. He expected me to work the way he did, and it caused my anxiety to flare. And like most people with high functioning impairments, I self-medicated. My drug of choice? Caffeine. My managers and my coworkers had no clue that when I said, hey, I'm going to Starbucks to get a coffee, it was really code for, you guys are driving me insane. I can't cope and I need something to drug myself to do. But like most drugs, the coffee wasn't enough. I went to manager number 5 and talked to him to no avail. I went to HR. Well, why don't you ask your boss for less work? I complained to my husband. That didn't help. And I found myself out in the car one day. Suicide hotline. Please, I have ADHD. I need help. I searched online and brought in suggested accommodations. We are not going to give you anything until you bring in accommodations from a doctor. And then the unthinkable. They put me on a performance improvement plan. I had a nervous breakdown and took 8 weeks off work. During that time, I did go to the doctor and I came in with my accommodations. I wish that I could go home whenever the boss got on my nerves. They mocked them. I realized at that point the situation was hopeless and I left that job. Unfortunately, I had to drop the grievance I had filed with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission because I accepted a severance package from the company. 1 year passed. I looked for accounting jobs and couldn't find one. Tears streamed down my face as I even looked at accounting employment ads. I felt like such a failure. This isn't fair, I thought. This company got away with mistreating me. And then I had an epiphany. I'm going to go back to school, get my MBA, and I'm going to create programs for employers so that they can learn how to effectively manage people with cognitive disabilities like me. And that decision was my saving grace. Not only did I get an additional official diagnosis of mild neurocognitive impairments, I also found myself surrounded by other adults like me who had a diagnosis of Asperger's. It all made sense. I was autistic, and I happily embraced my autism. Professor Tony Atwood from Queensland, Australia stated that people don't suffer from autism. They suffer from the bullying and the teasing that result from the ignorance and the attitudes of people. I am an eagle. I'm not a catfish. And my vision is a world where workplaces allow employees to choose the supports that work for them and exploit their natural abilities, regardless of what their disability status is. And maybe we can do away with that whole word disability and focus only on ability. I would like for all of us, whether we have disabilities or not, to come together and have conversations so that we can make workplaces and the world a better place. I'm already at the table. Will you join me? Back to you, contest chair.
Contestant 6, please turn your video off and mute yourself. And I will ask once again for our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 7, please turn on your video. Contestant 7, can you hear me and see the timer?
I can hear you and I can see the timer.
Contestant 7, Misty Forsman, hijacked Misty Forsman.
Everything was very quiet at the lion enclosure at the Oregon Tiger Sanctuary. The Tiger Sanctuary is a place for rehab and sanctuary for animals that have been abused or neglected and need sanctuary. And I was on my way over to the lions because I was going to clear an area in front of the lion enclosure so that we could do an educational video the following day. I went over to the enclosure. I bent over to begin to clear the thistles, and I caught a movement out of the corner of my eye. And I slowly straightened up, and I saw the lion beginning to walk towards me. But then he wasn't walking. He was moving faster and faster and faster. And finally, he was charging at me, 450 pounds of lion. This is all I saw. I was frozen. I could not move. I couldn't lift an arm even at the time. The enclosure wall disappeared. I just didn't see it. All I saw was charging lion with teeth. I was in an amygdala hijack. The next thing I knew, all 4 paws of that lion hit the ground and skidded right up to the enclosure. And then he rubbed his face on the side of it. making what lions make for a purring sound, which is called chuffing. Well, I'm still frozen over there in hijack. And then I remembered to breathe. An amygdala hijack is a function of the amygdala that we all have. And it's a phrase that was coined by psychologist Daniel Coleman in 1995 when he wrote the book Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. The amygdala is a very old part of the brain. We call it part of the primitive brain. It's responsible for fight, flight, and freeze. This is one of the two, because you're only seeing one side. It has one on either side. It's down towards the back, close towards the spine. And the main job of the amygdala is to regulate emotions such as fear and aggression, but not to make you comfy, to keep you alive. We are not built for happiness, we are built to survive. And so by freezing, my amygdala had determined that that was the best solution I had given the circumstances. Now, we don't come across too many lions in today's world, but we have a host of other things that can trigger an amygdala reaction. When you get triggered into an amygdala reaction, you don't have the best thinking available to you. The frontal lobes, the ones towards the front, that's your thinking part of the brain, they're shut down. In an amygdala hijack like I was in, your immune system shuts down. Your liver secretes all the water in it to the muscles for them to function. Your blood pressure is 9 million over 9 million. And you're geared to fight or flight or freeze, whatever will save your life. The amygdala releases stress hormones that prepare the body for the threat or to run from the danger. The things that tend to trigger this are fear, anger, anxiety, and aggression. In today's world, however, without the lions, we have quite a few things that can trigger amygdala reactions. Listening to the news, getting up to talk in front of Toastmasters and having a moment where your mind goes blank, not a word comes to you. You come to a room full of people and you're at the doorway and you are not moving. Amygdala. You come to a speech contest. You forget what you were going to say. Amygdala. It comes with headaches sometimes. It comes with feelings of tension. You can open your mail, see a bill from the insurance company, and that can trigger an amygdala reaction. One of my resources, Dr. Alok Trivedi, talks about the fact that one of the major amygdala triggers in today's world are finances, money. And Dr. Huberman from Stanford says about 88% of all people have issues with the amygdala producing disease. Here's what you can do. Breathe. touch something, say something, and you will come out of it. Thank you.
Contestant number 7, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And I will ask once again our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 8, please turn your video on. Contestant 8, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes, I can hear you and see the timer. I have a request though. There is the backup device has not been renamed, so I'm unable to do it.
Can we get one of the tech hosts to rename contestant 8's backup? She'll be in the participant list twice. If you can name her second one as backup, not the one she's on now. Contestant 8, Atifa Deshamukhia, traversing the tightrope, Atifa Deshamukhia.
If I were to ask you, what is life? Perchance I may hear you say, life is a journey, or life is a place of learning, or life is a veil of sorrow, or even life is a party, let's rock and roll. In my experience, esteemed judges, beloved Toastmasters, and honored guests, life is like a tightrope walk where we have to traverse with care. We got to watch every step, for this tightrope does not have a safety net. We may risk falling into the abyss or emerging triumphant, all depending on how diligently we traverse the tightrope of life. I got to be honest though, life wasn't always a tightrope for me. Up until my 17th year, life was easy breezy, a cakewalk, a walk in the park, or what have you. But all that changed in my 17th year when I lost my father forever. I recall being there when my father spoke to his brother about me in this way while he was in his ailment. Look after her. The umbrella of protection over her will soon be taken away. And right he was. It was only 2 months later that I became bereft of my dear father. Life then came up to me as a tightrope. I was at odds with tough decisions, needing to balance my every action. The first of them, and the biggest, I would say, was balancing the love of my life with family honor. It was almost like in the days of Romeo and Juliet, when the families fought over the lovers. And in my case, the fight was about both families belonging to different communities, Hindu and Muslim. Somehow, I managed to balance my love against the family honor. But then the next conflict was waiting just around the corner. That was the upbringing of our only child. Which fate would he follow? And parenting, I had no guides for it. How much is too much attention? How much is too less? Again, the tightrope, balancing odds, doing the best I could. Life rolls on with these tough decisions, but I must add that we human beings have beautiful coping mechanisms. Do you agree? Well, I invented my own coping mechanism, and that is in the magic word, anything. Anything is a word that relieved me from this tightrope walk of taking tough decisions whenever the consequences were not too important. If it was at the table I was consulted over the menu, I would just blurt out anything. Whoever said whatever would be okay for me as long as the consequences were not very serious. Let me take you back to the days when the internet was first introduced in India, and we as college students had it good with the cyber cafes popping up at every corner, and we would go and revel at the world of infotainment opening up before us. My one-time lover, present husband, let me stress that, it's one-time lover. So he would ask me with all the bravado he could master, like, what do you want to browse today? And I would just sink back into the chair and blurt out, anything. He would get so mad at me, but it relieved me of tough decisions not working out. And this was just a small thing, and I would not take any risk where it was not needed. So, my dear friends and Toastmasters, what tightrope decisions do you take on a daily basis? Is it that you are getting overwhelmed? Do not let that overwhelm you, because I, as a fellow tightrope walker, have realized that the enormity of our challenges equals to the greatness potential of our lives. We just have to tread carefully and traverse the tightrope with intention, diligence, and dedication. And then the thunderous applause of onlookers is on its way. When we do our best, we emerge as heroes. And so, my dear friends, I invite you not to be overwhelmed by your own tightrope walk, to find out your own coping mechanisms, much like Mark Zuckerberg, who does not bother with simple day-to-day decisions like which t-shirt to wear for work. He just has a set of same color t-shirts which he wears to work every day, and reserves the best of his energies for the best decisions that have the maximum consequence. So pare down those decisions and put your heart and soul into the decisions that matter, and traverse the tightrope of life in the best manner possible. I am assuring you that we are all in it together, and best outcomes can only be expected. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant 8, please turn your video off and mute yourself. And I will ask once again our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 9, please turn on your video. Contestant 9, can you hear me and see the timer?
I can hear you and I can see the timer.
Contestant 9, Michelle Peticolis, do your own dance. Do your own dance, Michelle Peticolis.
Have you ever felt unworthy, unwanted, not good enough? I did. I was the third born of a mother already overwhelmed by my 2 older sisters. And my dad, he was transferred to Japan by the US Army when I was only 2. I thought something was wrong with me, and that if I was going to get the love and attention I needed to survive, I would have to prove my worth. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, this is my tale of going from worthless to loving myself. This proving myself was very motivating. National Honor Society, Phi Beta Kappa, one of 2 graduate students in my class to earn my PhD. I thought my PhD was my ticket to worthiness. I asked my dad, "Dad, what do you think about my PhD?" "I'm so ashamed. I never finished my BA." I asked my boss, "Dave, would you introduce me to social services next time as Dr. Peticolis?" "Why don't you tattoo it to your forehead?" And then my husband left me for another woman when I got promoted and he got fired. I quit. I ran off to a spiritual community where relationships and work don't matter. In reality, I traded my husband, my boss, and my dad for my new spiritual teacher. I did everything he asked of me. I edited his books. I interviewed his students. I videotaped his dance shows. Adnan, my teacher, was a shamanic drummer. Boom, tacky, 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 boom, tacky, 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 boom, boom, tack. Dancers, Middle Eastern dancers from all over the world came to his workshops to learn to dance from spirit. I wanted to be a dancer, but most of the time I was out in the audience videotaping other dancers. My costume danced in more shows than I did on somebody else's body. But then one day, Adnan took away the camera. Was I too attached or not good enough? Now I could be in the shows, on the sidelines with the other second stringers, put in the middle at the end of the show, en masse. But little by little, I danced with fewer and fewer other dancers, until finally one Christmas workshop, I got my first solo for about 30 seconds. But it was a start. And then Adnan came to me and he asked me to come to his show in the Bronx. Did he want me to videotape or to dance? I brought my costume along just in case. But when I got there, I saw that all the other dancers were from his A-list. I asked him, "Adnan, do you want me to dance?" "You could dance." So with misgivings, I put on my silk skirt, my belt, bare belly, bra, naked shoulders, and went out into the frigid auditorium to videotape. 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. When I saw the same dancers getting up for the second time, I knew he had forgotten me. Tears streamed down my cheeks, smudging my makeup and falling on the video camera.
He must have sensed my distress because soon after, relief came. I walked to the stage like a prisoner going to the gallows. I got on the stage, but I couldn't dance. I was frozen. Have you ever froze? Adnan put the rest of the dancers on the stage and finished the show. I was mortified. We all loaded up into the car of the one male student there and headed back to the Bronx, headed back to Manhattan. On the way, we stopped at a market. Everyone got out of the car, except me and the driver, Tom. Tom turned to me and said, "You know, you really are a good dancer." His words broke me open. A flood of tears came out of my eyes. He said, "Why don't you come to my class next week and dance just for yourself?" And so I did. And it was glorious. I felt connected to spirit, to my dance, to myself. And I made up my mind right then that I would never let anybody decide the value of my dance, not even Adnan. I would dance for myself because of how it made me feel. And wouldn't you know, next time I went to Adnan's workshop, he invited me to dance and gave me a real solo. There's a lesson in this. Don't do things for the approval of others. Do what you do because of your passion and how it makes you feel. As Adnan often said, do your own creative dance. And that's what I do. It's the best practice for me to love who I really am. What about you? My suggestion, do your own creative dance as though your life depended on it, because it does. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant 9, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And I will ask our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute for the ballot, for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 10, please turn on your video. Contestant 10, can you hear me and see the timer?
I can hear you and see the timer.
Contestant 10, Maya Catherine, you are loved unconditionally. You are loved unconditionally, Maya Catherine.
Have you ever felt unloved at any point in your life? Have you ever felt that the love and admiration and support you got from others was tied to what they got from you? And at the moment, you could not give it to them in the same way or give it to them at all. It could be all taken away. Do you feel like that when it comes to work? Do you feel like that at home? Have you ever wondered if the love you get from others is always conditional? I asked myself that too. What would happen once I stopped doing things for people and situations? Would they love me? Would they have my back? I started questioning if the whole concept of unconditional love was even possible. I pondered that question for years until I ended up in the hospital fighting for my life. If you were in that emergency room with me, you would have gasped when the doctor told me, if you didn't come today, you probably would not have made it. Your heart is operating at low levels of oxygen, and people in your condition usually die. What, doctor? Die? Please tell me this is not so. I was at the edge. This could have been my last day. What about my kids that could have been left motherless? What about my dreams unrealized? My potential unfulfilled? Please tell me this isn't so. And then commotion in the emergency room. A man screaming, I'm in pain, please help me. Nurses running, alarms going on, beep, beep. I asked myself, what is going on? What am I doing here? What is going on with me? That night in the hospital room bed, I thought about that question. What was going on with me? But deep down inside, I knew the answer. I had been neglecting myself. I have done what a lot of us do. Spend our time trying to please others. Spend our time trying to be what others want us to be. Spend our time trying to get the approval of others. Seeking goals to make us fit into a society that we think is good for us, all at the expense of our hearts. My heart. I am so sorry, I thought, that I put you in a situation when you had to grasp at oxygen in order to keep me alive. My goodness, you must really love me. And then I got the biggest epiphany of my life. My heart fought for me. It did not stop. It fought for me regardless of what I did or didn't do. It fought for me when I failed. It fought for me when I didn't get the best grade in school. It fought for me and kept beating when I didn't get a promotion at work that I tried to get so many times. It fought for me whether I was good, whether I didn't act in a way that I was proud of myself. Just kept beating. Even when silly things happen, like I didn't cook the Thanksgiving turkey well, or it wasn't cooked at all. My heart kept fighting for me. Wow, now that was unconditional love. No litmus test, no naughty list and nice list. It just loved me no matter what. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and anyone who has a heart, let me tell you this. You are loved unconditionally by your heart. When you acknowledge this truth, and more importantly, when you honor this truth by doing things that make your heart happy, it creates a vast well of positive energy that keeps you going in the hardest of times. And when you feel love from others, it is just a delicious bonus. And when you don't, you're okay, because this heart still loves you unconditionally. I encourage you to say those things when things get tough and you don't feel love. It's okay. My heart loves me unconditionally. Let's say it together. It's okay. My heart loves me unconditionally. Please take good care of your heart. Do the things that make you happy, because I promise you that all your heart wants to do is take good care of you as well. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Contestant 10, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And I will once again ask our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 11, please turn on your video. Contestant 11, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see the timer.
Contestant 11, Linda Berteau, Leaky Ara, Linda Berteau.
Donna is an accomplished person. She's a creative soul who lives through the heart. She had 2 jobs. One was 40 hours a week as an X-ray technician. And then on nights and weekends, she had a fully booked skincare practice. So a year ago, she was making more money than she had ever made in her life. And then life threw her a curve. Both of her parents' health was failing. So she did what any good Southern girl would do. She sold her house, packed everything up, moved back to her childhood home to help care for her elderly parents. As soon as she did this, she went back into all of the trauma that she had experienced as a girl with her mother and not fitting in. She was experiencing constant mental chatter. She had anger and depression, anxiety that was residing within her from things that she hadn't dealt with. Every day was a struggle. All I could do was I just wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. I had all of this anger, this loneliness, this depression, everything came back. I just wanted to have a solid ground to stand on and to have any direction in life. So when Donna was young, she had a lazy eye, and the doctor gave her a patch. She was 5 years old. Imagine going to school for the first time with a patch on your eye. The school kids taunted and bullied her. And not only that, she was overweight. And her mother was so hateful towards her because she was a surprise baby. So Donna had all of these things that she was dealing with that caused anxiety when she was a young child. And she asked her mom as she was getting older, "Mom, I need help." And her mom said, "You don't need help. So by the age of 17, Donna felt so hopeless that she attempted suicide. So this led to her going in and out of psychiatric help for 29 years. Linda, every therapist I went to told me that I had a different disorder. I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, and PTSD. All they did was throw drugs at me. I didn't need drugs, and I didn't need Western medicine. See, we're taught to not be ourselves. We're conditioned as we grow up so that we can fit in. And we're taught by our parents, our gender, our school, our religion, the area that we're raised in. All of these things teach us. We're told to not trust our feelings, that it's mind over matter. And forget about intuition. That's just crazy. So all these things lead to, not being true to yourself, stepping away from that innateness that we have within us. That leads to what I call leaky aura. And the result is epidemic levels of stress, anxiety, depression, and even suicide. So we're spiritual beings in a physical body. Our spirit is eternal, where the body is temporary. We're here to evolve our spirit while we're here in our lifetime by sharing our innate gifts and talents, making the world a better place. And our spirit is actually made up of chakras. We have energy centers called chakras that fill us with vital life force energy. This radiates in and around the body to what we call the aura. And then the chakras and the aura together are the subtle energy body. Now, this subtle energy body is also known as our spirit. So imagine that nature's rainbow, colors of nature's rainbow are the same as the colors of our inner rainbow, the chakra system. And the more vibrant color energy that we have within us, exuding beyond us in our aura, the more we have access to a sense of self, to purpose and meaning in life. This is healthy aura. Leaky aura is like having Swiss cheese for an aura. We have holes in our aura because we have tried to be something that we're not. We're taking care of others at our own expense, and we leave bits and pieces of our energy behind. Now, if you can heal your aura, heal your spirit, you can heal a multitude of issues that you have. And you can't do this through the mind. It's not mind over matter. It takes like to heal like. So you need energy to heal the energy body. And something I love is Reiki. Reiki is universal healing energy that helps to heal the spirit. So when you're a feeling person, a highly sensitive person like Donna, and you don't follow your feelings, then that leads to even more trauma. So Donna joined me in my Heal the Healer program, and I taught her meditation, Reiki, journaling, and a number of other healing modalities. The first month, she did Reiki on herself every day for 30 days. And she said, Linda, when I first started this program, I could not get any leverage. I was just stuck. And now, taking Reiki and doing the Heal the Healer program at the age of 45, everything's starting to fall into place. And little did I know that it was going to take Reiki, meditation, and journaling to help me get back to figuring out who I was. All I needed to do was dig in and really go deep into myself to figure out and meet that part of myself I hadn't seen in years. So within 2 months, Donna was anxiety and depression free. She forgave her mom, and she was able to heal her relationship with her mom as she was caring for her. In September, Donna's mom died in her arms while she was telling her that she loved her. And she was actually able to help her go into the light. So profound. Donna said to me recently, I was just thinking how different my life is since I met you. And can you imagine me losing my mom without knowing what I learned this year? Oh my God, I love you. So Donna's story is inspirational, and I want you to know that there is life beyond depression. Heal your spirit, and you can heal a multitude of issues. Are you ready to be the person you're meant to be? Everything is within you. Heal your spirit, and you make the world a better place just by being you.
Contestant 11, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And we will have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 12, please turn on your video. Contestant 12, can you hear me and see the timer?
Yes, I can see the timer. I could hear you.
Contestant 12, Isaac Ford, walk on by, Isaac Ford.
Every day, I would see Mrs. Allen as she walked by my house. Everywhere I go, I would see her walking. I never met her personally. Mrs. Allen was in her 50s, but she looked 30. She would remind you of Venus Williams, athletic, energetic, and youthful. I was 25, a little overweight. I didn't get out of bed. I rolled out of bed. My job was so stressful, but there was one good thing about that job. It took me an hour to get to work so I could listen to audiobooks. One morning, my wife, JoJo, announced, "Honey, I need to lose a little weight. Would you come with me to Weight Watchers for moral support?" You know, Joe, you really could lose a little weight. I didn't say that. That's what I thought. Sure, I'll go with you to Weight Watchers. When we got to Weight Watchers, Shar said, "Welcome to Weight Watchers. I need you to weigh yourself. Who wants to go first?" "I'll go. I'm just here to support my wife, JoJo." So I stepped on those scales and I was shocked. JoJo's eyes said everything I needed to know. "I'm not the one who needs to lose the weight. You're the one who needs to lose weight." Shar said, "Well, there's a few things that you're going to need to do to lose the weight. You're going to need to keep a journal, change your diet, and exercise." Now, I had just started walking, so the exercise part for me was going to be easy. But when I changed my diet, that weight melted like hot popcorn butter. There were days that I just didn't feel like exercising. But then I remembered this speech that I'd heard by Don Johnson. He was the 1989 International Speech Contest winner. And he talked about this exercise tool that he had found. He said, it looks like a little block of wood. And what you do is you take that block, sit it in the floor, and just walk around it 2 times and get back into bed. And people would always ask him, Don, what are you doing? You look fantastic. And he would just tell them, the first thing that I do when I get up is I walk around the block twice. It was a Monday morning, and I was driving to work, and this audiobook was talking about the benefits of deep breathing. I thought I could do that. So I my heart started pounding. I had to pull over. I thought I was having a heart attack. After a few minutes, I calmed down. And when I got to work, I eased in the elevator, and there was my boss, Mr. White. The next time you come in here late, you're fired. That encouraged me to start walking even more. I started walking on my lunch break. I even got up an hour early just to walk before I went to work. Needless to say, I never got fired. Fast forward to today. In a few months, I'm going to be 70 years old. I'm retired now. And as a result, I walk throughout my neighborhood for hours. And wouldn't you know, one morning I got stopped by the police. The officer said, "You're wondering why I pulled you over, why I stopped you. I just want to thank you. Because of you, I have lost 10 pounds. I see you walking everywhere." And I thought, if you could do it, I can do it. I never met Mrs. Allen, but she encouraged me to start walking because she didn't tell me to walk. Her actions spoke louder than words. My question to you is, what are your actions saying? Who have you encouraged? Or has someone encouraged you to do something? If nothing else, I hope you realize the benefits of walking. It can add years to your life, keep you stress-free and healthy. But sometimes if you don't feel like exercising, just walk around the block twice. Contest chair.
Contestant 12, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And I will ask for 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant 13, please turn your video on. Contestant 13, do you want to double check that you can share your screen okay? First?
Yes.
I can see it okay.
I actually want to put it as the background, just one second.
Okay.
Sure.
Are you satisfied? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see the timer?
I can, thank you.
All right, one moment. Let me get back to my, okay, contestant 13, Nadine James. Why can't I have babies? Why can't I have babies, Nadine James?
What do you do when somebody you really care about mockingly sends you a picture like this that says, why can't I have a baby? And generally says, wonder why you can't have children? And continues to say, even Sarah could produce. How do you respond to that? Well, you say, yes, I know I can't have, yes, I know. I'm not married and I don't have biological children. It is my purpose. I am the mother of hundreds of thousands of children. Come, let me introduce you to some of my babies. This is Ayinde. Ayinde is 9 years old, and this is his sister, Amaya. Amaya is 14. They're both from Trinidad. This is my baby, another baby from Trinidad, Geneva. This is Brian Caldwell. Brian, I was recently sent this picture that Brian got into DePauw University on a POSSE scholarship. These are my other American babies. But in this conversation, I want to focus on two of my babies. Meet London and Delancia. In this picture, London is 4 and her sister Delancia is 8. Here you'll see London and Delancia preparing a salsa snack, a healthy snack. In the other picture, you see London creating a cancer cell. London, in 2018, I had a program called Cancer Smancer Reimagined. And London chose to do her project on a woman who was going through breast cancer and had lost her hair. So London chose the tennis racket, this pink tennis racket, and she gave her curly hair and a pink hat because she had lost her hair. And London gave her eyes and nose and a mouth, but she gave her this little thing. I didn't understand. So I said, London, what is that? And she said, it's her tooth. So I said, London, well, why is it that she only has one tooth? And she's like, well, she lost the rest of them. And that was a eureka moment for me. Because then I remembered when patients are going through cancer treatment, chemotherapy or radiation therapy, they can actually lose their teeth. So she was paying attention as she was being taught. In summer of 2017, I met Joel and his sister Janine. My first impression of Joel was that he was quiet, he was well-mannered, he was well-trained, and he had presence. Joel and Janine are from a middle-class family. And their mom allowed me to have them in all the illumination programming. Joel's participation revealed that he was intrinsically motivated and that he took ownership of his education. You didn't have to coerce him. He was an astute scholar. He was always on time. And so we chose him to do a challenging clinical research project. Joel decided that he wanted to do his project on HIV/AIDS. In this project, Joel taught us what human immunovirus is. He taught us how it spread. He taught us the symptoms. He taught us the stages of HIV. He taught us HIV/AIDS and treatment. He taught us how to prevent HIV and AIDS at 13 years old. Now, Joel had to use 20 research papers, read, dissect, and understand, and then summarize it in a PowerPoint presentation. In his presentation, we were wowed. Joel demonstrated that he had advanced thinking, and he showed that he showed excellence in his presentation. It was no surprise a few weeks after that his mom told me Joel was on the high honor roll at school. When students are motivated, they tend to grow. And so in our programming, we focus on, one of the things that we focus on strategies is motivation. So with increased motivation comes increased learning, increased success, and positive emotions. Joel continued to participate in our programs, and one such program was the Cancer Slancer Art Exhibit. Here he learned about the characteristics of cancer, risk factors, prevalence, diagnosis, treatment, prevention, and nutrition. On February 15, 2022, Joel's mom sent me this picture saying Joel was the only student in his school district who was honored by the National College Board, recognizing his outstanding performance. Wow. Joel practiced until it became permanent. In June 2022, Joel graduated, and he's now pursuing a career in healthcare, specifically a bachelor's in nursing, and then he intends to do nurse practitioning. So observing Joel take ownership of his education has motivated me to decide what matters, do what matters, deliver to others what matters, and ultimately to help my students globally discover their brilliance. So the question is not, why can't I have babies? The question is, why do you have so many babies? So let me introduce you to myself. My name is Dr. Nadine James, and I am the creator of Transcendent Lifelong Learners who are passionate about pursuing careers in healthcare. Thank you.
Contestant 13, please turn off your video and mute yourself. And I will ask our timer once again to give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballot. Contestant 14, please turn on your video. Contestant 14, can you hear me and see the timer? Unmute yourself. Make sure you unmute yourself.
I can hear you. I can hear you and see the timer.
Great, great. Contestant 14, D. Marie King, put up or shut up, put up or shut up, D. Marie King.
Have you ever heard a voice inside your head that spoke so profoundly that it caused you to stop in your tracks? Put up or shut up. That was the sound that I heard in my head as I sat at my dining room table. But my defining moment started when I was in my darkest point in my entire existence. My life had been spared in an automobile accident where I was hit broadside by an oncoming vehicle. I was pent behind the wheel. The engine was smoking, and I could smell the oil and gas that was pouring out onto the motor. I heard the policeman's voice as he said, "We've called 911 and help is on the way." But I did not remember hearing the loud crash when those two cars collided. I do remember saying, I could die. I could die as my car was careening off and hit a metal telegram post. I pressed hard on the brake with my right foot in order to stop the car. My diagnosis came back with a fractured right tibia and 4 months at home to recover. I started out in a wheelchair, then I went to crutches, and I remember thinking, will I ever walk normally again? Well, I'm here to tell you that the fractured tibia is healed, and my gait and my stride are as good as ever. But sitting at that dining room table, when I heard the voice inside my head that said, put up or shut up, I knew what the challenge was. I had said all my life, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And it was now put up or shut up. I had the time. I had no excuses. So I began to write. But then I said, would God speak to someone like that? And I pushed past that thought and I continued to write the book. Further along, I began to think, is God asking me to write a romance novel? Because the book that I had started writing was a romance novel. I had been writing on napkins and in spiral notebooks, but I was typing this manuscript. And I pushed past that thought because little did I know, God had a plan. But I was obedient and I continued to write. I completed the book. I wrote the book. But not all commands that we hear are loud and clear and come through in that fashion. Some may be soft-spoken. I want you to think back with me to August of 1963 on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. There was this large crowd of people, and Dr. Martin Luther King was struggling as he was attempting to speak to that crowd. They seemed restless. They weren't really paying attention. Not until Mahalia Jackson, a well-known gospel singer, walked across the platform and walked up to Martin and said, tell him about the dream. Tell him about the dream, Martin. I have a dream, were the next words that we heard out of Dr. King's mouth. He repeated it again. I have a dream. A hush fell on the crowd. They were paying attention. If you had been sitting in that audience, you could have felt it. Everybody's eyes were on Dr. Martin Luther King. History now says that his I have a dream speech was his greatest speech, all because he was obedient. Another defining moment happened for me. It was 2 or 3 years after I had written the book and 3 or 4 years after the automobile accident. I went into a room on Clubhouse where the renowned motivational speaker, Les Brown, said these words. If you know that God has performed a miracle in your life, that's the first thing that you want to say wherever you are, because telling your story may impact and empower someone else to tell their story. So I decided to be obedient. And instantly I realized that I had suppressed the whole automobile accident. I had told no one. I wasn't even talking about it. And I wasn't actively trying to market my book. So I decided to be obedient and I started marketing the book. And the plan that God had became obvious to me. I thought I was talking about a book that had to do with love and romance. But my audiences told me that what they got from the book was the fact that it offered hope. That after the isolation, the scourge of deaths, of COVID-19, the book offered them hope. It was amazing. I never saw that coming. But I can tell you that by being obedient, this is the book that I wrote and designed the cover. I knew nothing about writing. I knew nothing about graphic design, but I was obedient. Today it's on Amazon and I'm trying to make it a bestseller. So I would say to you, my simple advice would be, don't make the mistake that I made. Stop making excuses and putting off for tomorrow the things that you can do today. When you hear that voice inside your head, it may be a whisper. Tell them about the dream. Tell them about the dream, Martin. Or it may be a loud statement. Put up or shut up. But I ask you to listen to the voice inside your head and then to decide to be obedient. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant 14, please turn your video off and mute your microphone. And I will ask our timer number 3 to give us 1 minute for the judges to mark their ballot. Thank you, timer 3. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to ask the Zoom host to please escort the contest staff into the breakout room. And once that's confirmed to happen, we will take a 5-minute break and return with very short interviews.
Madam Toastmaster evening, confirming all judges.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Cynthia, you're still okay with us to do a 5-minute break?
Yeah, let's just, they're confirmed in there. Let's go ahead and start the interviews. I'm sorry, it's 8:25. We tried our best. We're just gonna have the interviews and then the results, and hopefully we'll have the results lickety split.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
let's do the interviews.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is ask all of the contestants to turn their video on. So if you gave a speech tonight, turn your video on. And I would love to speak to all of you for an hour each. So please do not be offended that this is going to be very short. However, I do want to get to know all of you. I'm going to go in order, the order that you spoke. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions. We're going to try to keep this to 1 to 2 minutes for each of you. The questions are going to be, how did you decide to participate, or why did you decide to participate in the speech contest? And how long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide and Toastmasters as a whole, which could be the same number of years for some people and different number of years for others. So let's start with Shumpa. Where is she? Did she turn her video on?
And let's spotlight each contestant while they're responding. Okay, great. Thank you, Zoom hosts.
Let's spotlight Shumpa. And Shumpa, if you could take yourself off mute. I think she's still here, right? Let's see. Let's move to Sandra. Sandra, you're first up. What made you decide to be a part of this speech contest, and how long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide and Toastmasters in general?
Well, I've been a member of Leaders Worldwide since its inception. I am a charter member, so I'm very proud of that. How long have I been in Toastmasters? You know, I cannot remember. I have to tell you, it's been so long I can't remember. And
what made you decide to be a part of the speech contest tonight?
Well, you know, it was asked whether we wanted to be speakers, and I thought, well, I haven't spoken for a while. Maybe I should try it. And I know that my speech was not as, you know, well presented or meaningful as some of the others who I really appreciated. But it was just fun to be here and to do it and have the experience. And that's, you know, what I wanted from it. So that's good.
It's a great experience, and it was fun to listen to you. And now I'm going to move to Cassandra, not Sandra, but Cassandra, Caribbean.
I've been a member about 1.5 years, and I just wanted to do it for the experience.
Good for you. For you. So is this your first Toastmaster club?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive. Congratulations on being a part of this.
Oh,
and I will move to Roslyn. Roslyn Khan, how long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide, Toastmasters in general? What made you decide to be a part of a speech contest tonight?
Well, I've been part of Leaders Worldwide since they started. I have a long history of being in Toastmasters, probably after I graduated high school. So it's too many years to continue. And, you know, these stories have been in my mind so much that I just really wanted to share what I've experienced in life. It's not a golden ticket to the stars, but there's some pain and agony that goes through it, and just empower people that, you know, you can go through anything and come through in between. And it was truly an honor to be with so many talented people. I know it's going to be a tough thing for the judges, because, you know, I was like, oh my God, that was so good. Oh my God, that was, I don't know, but I just want to let everybody know you competed, and so many people sat out on the couch and didn't even. So whatever the winners are, everyone here is truly a winner for just being a part of it all. And I want to thank the people for making it happen and waiting for me, because I'm on vacation and I want to get off to go see the show. So
thank you, Rosalind. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to share your voice. All right, Carrie Kelly. Carrie Kelly, how long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide, Toastmasters in general? What made you decide to be a part of the speech contest tonight?
I've been a Toastmaster for a while. I can't remember. I think I was with Leaders Worldwide when it started. But my whole thing is I'm a child abuse awareness advocate and awareness and prevention advocate. And it's because of my own experiences and all the people that didn't speak up to do something about the harm that I was in. I just won't tolerate it for people that can hear my story. There's a lot of high profile abuse that has been covered up over the ages. And like, you know, I went through that. And then when I hear the stories about the major organizations that will try to sweep it under the rug, it's so disgusting to me that I'm just angry about it and I want it to stop. So every chance I get to be on a stage or be in a place where somebody could hear my voice that would be moved to action, that's why I do the contest. That's why I share my story anytime, anywhere, any chance I get.
Thank you, Carrie. That's an excellent reason. There's no better reason than that. So I appreciate you telling us. Let's go to Lydia. Lydia Norman, how long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide? How long have you been a part of Toastmasters? What made you decide to be a part of this contest? Is Lydia not here? She's here. Lydia, you want to join us? I will, going once, going twice, I will move on to Misty. Misty, how long have you been a member of Toastmasters in general, Leaders Worldwide in specific, and what made you decide to give a speech tonight?
Well, I'm one of the charter members of Leaders Worldwide, and I decided to speak tonight because so many things are tied to this amygdala problem. And people don't realize that their health and their choices in their life are really dictated by being in that part of their brain. And to learn to recognize it and then to move to the prefrontal cortex, which is where your executive brain is, can do a lot for your life. And the other part is you can prevent a lot of illness. And that was the motivation for me for speaking about this topic.
Excellent. I learned a lot from your speech. And I will call on Atifa, but I'm not seeing her. Anybody see? Oh, there you are. You are here, Atifa. Sorry, there's so many people. I'm like going through trying to find the names. How long have you been in Toastmasters in general and Leaders Worldwide? What made you decide to give a speech tonight? Oh wait, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, am I audible?
I can hear you.
I've been a member of Leaders Worldwide for a couple of months now, but I've been in Toastmasters for over a year. And I decided to be part of the speech contest because I have dreams of being a professional speaker, which I have already started my journey.
Excellent. Great experience to be a part of this, if that's your goal. Let's go to Michelle Pedicolis. Michelle, I know a little bit more about you, but why don't you tell us how long you've been a member of Toastmasters in general, Leaders Worldwide, what made you decide to give a speech tonight at this contest?
I think it's been maybe almost 5 years. I think it has been 5 years since I joined Toastmasters and Leaders Worldwide. I was not only a charter member, I was one of the founding people. And I chose to be in this contest because last year I got all the way up to the district and didn't win. And I came up with another speech and I said, why not? Let's see what happens.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. All right. Excellent. How about let's go to Maya Catherine. Is Maya Catherine still here? I think I saw you.
Yes. Hi.
How long have you been a member of Leaders Worldwide, Toastmasters? If it's the same, that's okay. What made you decide to give a speech tonight?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yes, so I have been a Toastmaster and Leaders Worldwide member since August of last year, I believe. And this is my first contest. I decided to participate to enhance my speaking skills because I know that my life purpose will require me to speak on big stages. So anything I can do to enhance that, you know, I'll take the opportunity. And I'm very grateful to have been here today with all these wonderful speakers.
It's a great experience to practice and to hear other speakers of a good caliber. Let's go to Linda Berteau. Linda,
Hi.
how long have you been in Toastmasters and how long have you been in Leaders Worldwide, and what made you decide to give a speech?
I've been in Toastmasters since COVID started, thanks to Cynthia.
Gotcha.
And she's telling me I'm one of the original Speechcraft charter members. I was the demo speaker, I guess. So she tells me, do you want to speak? And I say, okay.
Hey, that's as good a reason as any. I mean,
well, I needed to start with a new presentation. So this was a new one tonight. And, you know, I was telling my client stories now. I used to tell my story, and now I'm telling my client stories, which I think are pretty incredible as well.
That's great. You've got a wealth of stories to give us. So I appreciate you sharing one of them tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Isaac. Isaac, I think you're still here. Isaac, how long have you been in Toastmasters? How long have you been a part of Leaders Worldwide? What made you decide to give a speech tonight?
I've been a Toastmaster 20 plus years. I'm a charter member of Leaders Worldwide. And I just want to encourage people to start walking, because I've been a walker, and I just think it's a something that you can do, if you can do it, that can really add some years to your life. Research says that, so I believe it.
Yeah, walking is the best form of exercise from what I've heard. So it was great that you shared your story with that. All right, let's go to Nadine James, Dr. Nadine James.
Hi.
Nadine James, how long have you been in Toastmasters and Leaders Worldwide? What made you decide to give your speech tonight?
Well, I was invited in, I think, September or October. I joined in October of 2021. I was invited by a friend of mine, Khadisha Curry. So I've been here since October 2021. And I decided to give a speech tonight because I've declared myself as a leader who will write and deliver inspiring speeches. And I wanted to, you know, improve my public speaking skills to become fluent in terms of listening, pristine listening, and in terms of becoming an excellent communicator.
I mean, Toastmasters, that's what this is all about. So you made the right choice. That's literally what it's all about. All right, let's go to Dee Marie King. Last but certainly not least, Dee Marie, how long have you been in Toastmasters Leaders Worldwide? What made you decide to give a speech tonight? Oh, wait, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm so good at that. I have been in Toastmasters since 2018, and I just joined Leaders Worldwide about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I decided to be a speaker because I am passionate about communication. I'm passionate about people. And I thought that combining the two and giving my speech would be great.
Well, it was wonderful to hear your speech. And with that, Cynthia, I don't know if you're ready, but it's according to my script, I'm going to reintroduce you for some thank yous and hopefully announcements.
Okay, just a sec, because we've got to get the results. So can you fill in just a minute? Because they haven't given me the results. Unless if Marlon can send me the results, I know that they're in, but I need official results from Marlon. So Marlon, can you please give me the official first place winner, second place winner, and third place winner, and I will confirm, and then I'll be able to answer that. So, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I will say this. I skipped over a couple people. If they want to jump in, if they're still here, I skipped over Shumpa and I skipped over Lydia, and I don't know if they want to. Lydia, woo! All All right, Lydia, tell me, how long have you been in Toastmasters? What made you decide to give your speech tonight?
I have been in Toastmasters since November, late November. And I wanted to give my speech tonight because I am very passionate about basically the story of, cognitive disabilities and having everyone be on equal footing so that we can all be successful and, get people for what they can do rather than what they can't do.
Absolutely. It's a great message. I loved the diversity of all the speakers tonight. So fascinating to hear all different voices, all different experiences. Really great. And I'm trying to fill a little bit of time, Cynthia. So just
I'm here.
when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'll need a confirmation from the judge, the chief judge, but he can just send it to me in privately. That's great. Wow. Wow. Amazing speakers. I'm so glad I wasn't a judge. I couldn't have decided. I just blew me out of the water and brought tears to my eyes. Just so wonderful to see all those amazing speakers and getting their message out into the world. That's what I personally live for. So I'm so grateful that you all spoke, and you all spoke so well. I mean, any other contest, you would be the winner. But unfortunately, we can't have 14 winners in this contest. So I hope you will, if you don't win, I hope you will join another club and win at the club level and go on. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Jill. You had my back. It was amazing. You've been a phenomenal contest Toastmaster. I really, really appreciate it. And our timers, 1, 2, and 3, our DTM timers. We had Dilshan, Salim, Zeman, Salim, and Rosemary Sweeney. They were amazing. And our Zoom hosts, we couldn't do anything without them. We had Curtis Greaves, which really kept me in line. I appreciate it so much, Curtis. And we had Venkat, Raman, and also we had, I'm getting messages. From Malaysia, we had Sabaraya Musa, and then we had Chief Judge and Co-Chief Judge. We had Marlon Pereira was the Chief Judge, and the Co-Chief Judge was Dr. Garcia. Great. We had ballot counters. They were amazing ballot counters. That was Tong Yin and Maureen Filler. I have to remember all these names. And and the judges. Oh my gosh. I do not envy you. You had a really tough job. And I thank you so very much. Is that everybody I was supposed to thank? Do you think it was Toastmasters?
I think so. You have contestants, timers, ballot counters, tech hosts, chief judge, co-chief judge, and Toastmaster. I think you got it.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. I got it. And also my certificate manager, who will be providing your certificates. I have 2 of them, actually. Sue Skiff and also Rabia Zishan. So very, very grateful to both of them. Okay, do we have any dignitaries to come up with me? Is Tala still here? Can Tala be highlighted? Tala bin Hamid, 5-time DTM. Oops, he's busy, I think. Is Carolyn Douglas or any other dignitary here? Okay, Tala, are you ready to be spotlighted?
I'm here, Cynthia.
You're here.
It's not
Carolyn.
allowing my video to come on.
Okay, no problem. Well, please step with me virtually to congratulate our winners. And I want to
Okay, I'm here now, and I just want to reiterate what has already been said. Thank you, Jill, for such great facilitation as a Toastmasters, and I want to thank every one of the speakers for being willing to step up and share your stories. There were some amazing things that we were made privy to, and we hold you in our hearts. I wish all of you success in moving forward. Whether you win this contest or not, keep going at it. So thank you for the privilege of speaking to everyone.
Yes, wonderful. And I'm so glad you're here and you were able to talk with us. And could you keep your video on and be spotlighted and be taking pictures with me and the winners? And Tala, is Tala available for pictures? Tala, are you there? Would you like to say a couple words?
Yes.
I know he's at work, so we'll try to be quick.
Well, how can I say a couple of words after 14 speeches? I mean, I need an hour. Do I have an hour? I don't think so. But
no.
but today, oh, I'm the president. I have the authority, right?
Yes.
No, I don't. Anyhow, so first of all, absolutely fantastic job. The contest went like clockwork. Impressive organization, impressive speeches. I'm bowled over by the variety of speeches that I heard. And I'm honored to say that I heard each and every one of them, and every speech took me on a different journey. So yeah, I know it's a cliche when we say that all of you are winners, but truly, truly, the true win is the development that you get as a part of participating in the contest. Results are strictly secondary. You are your own winner, and you stand on the podium today, each and every speaker today. And surely you would realize that you have grown infinitely during those 5 to 7 minutes. So congratulations to all, and congratulations to the contest chair and the contest staff. Over to you, Edie and Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Tala. And could we all have a drum roll, please? The third place winner of Leaders Worldwide Epic Contest is Atiba Deshamukia. Woo! You can take a highlight her video and take a picture.
Yay.
Congratulations, Atiba.
Thank you. Love you all.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. And let us know when you've got the picture, Zoom hosts. Curtis. Okay. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Great. And you got the picture, Curtis?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Great, great. Thank you. And drum roll, please. We have the second place winner of the Leaders Worldwide Championship, Lydia Norman. Woohoo! We can highlight her video and take a picture with me and Talha and Carolyn and Lydia. That would be great. Let me know when you have it. Congratulations, Lydia.
Thank you. Awesome.
I need to include Tala and Carolyn. Apologies. Carolyn, where have you gone? There you are.
There, great. Yay.
All right, got it.
Awesome. And drum roll, please, for the #1 winner. Dr. Michelle Pedicolis. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, there were so many great speakers tonight. It was amazing. I didn't really know for sure until this second.
Awesome. Well, you know, I'm thrilled. I think each and every one of you are absolutely, winners in my book. Oh, I forgot to announce there is one timing disqualification, and I will let that individual know. But you all did a fabulous, fabulous job. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I couldn't be prouder of you and prouder to call you Leaders Worldwide members. Thank you so much.
We like a picture of all the winners together.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. And all the winners together. And did we take pictures of the participants, all the participants? I hope. So let's get all the winners together. And a picture with Carolyn and Talha too. That would be great if you could get that.
Congratulations, you guys. Nice job.
You were awesome, Cassandra. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Oh, Curtis, would you be able to take a picture? Thank you.
Are the pictures complete?
Yep.
Okay, well, this meeting is adjourned. This contest is adjourned. Thank you for being part of this historic and epic contest. Amazing, amazing. Phenomenal job you all did. Wow.
Good job.
Cynthia,
Yeah.
I did not see you present their certificates.
We will, I'm sorry, we will email them.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder though. And you were phenomenal, DTM Rosemary, as timer number 3. Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations to the participants and the winners. Amazing.
Good
You're
job,
all
Cynthia.
winners.
You did an amazing job. So many moving parts. It's an insanely difficult job, especially with so many contestants, and you did amazing. You should be really proud. You should be really proud.
Yeah.
Now for the next
You're gonna
one.
make me cry.
Now for the next one, though. We got to do the next one.
It'll be easier. I don't think there will be as many contestants, and it's shorter.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying so long and being here through it all. Thank you so much.
Fun. I appreciated everybody's voice. Like I said, it was really amazing to hear all the speeches. All right, Cynthia, I will be in touch for the next contest.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Have a
good
great
night.
evening.
Congratulations. Or morning, afternoon, whatever it is, time it is for you in the world.